Hi, Jane here. Thanks for joining me. I'm a huge fan of empowering you, as are the speakers in our Go Big series. Have you stopped to think recently what you really want in your life? Do you feel like you were meant for more, as I had for so many years? What's the big goal that you want to achieve this coming year, or a fear that you finally want to get over? If you're ready to re-envision your future and launch your big idea, maybe spread your influence or get over a fear finally, then I invite you to join me and some of our speakers. We want to help you empower your mindset, build your vision, and own your dream. Stop needing to be right and let's do this now, together. Go to janeapplegath.com, click on Go Big Sign Up, and I will see you there. Sending you much love and success. Have an incredibly epic day. Hope to see you soon. Hi everyone, I'm Jane Applegath. Welcome to the Epic Vision Zone, where some of the world's most successful self-made women and men share their multi-million-dollar ideas, their high-performance habits, visionary mindsets, and resources so you can hit the go button on your epic life. Ludwig Wittgenstein wrote, "The human body is the best picture of the human soul." If you've ever asked yourself, how can I tap into the wisdom of my body and its innate power source to better understand myself, others, and the world around me, then you'll want to know today's guests, Susan and Martin Fisher. Co-founders and teachers of Body of Nine, Susan and Martin are pioneers in the study and research of an innovative body-based personality assessment system that works both through exploring your posture, body type, and how you physically express yourself. According to Susan and Martin, each of us has a natural number between 1 and 9. And knowing your number takes understanding of who you are to a whole new level. Each number gives us the key to how we think, react, act, and interact. It helps us discover more awareness of ourselves, relationships, and life. Their Body of Nine book series includes their new release, Body of Nine Practices of Presence, Body-Based Wisdom for Living a Life of Purpose, and the Body of Nine, Decode Your Physiology and Discover Your True Self. Since 2012, Susan and Martin have been working to identify over 7,500 people from around the world and share their understanding of how the Body of Nine shows up in several aspects of our human experience. Welcome, Susan and Martin. Thank you for joining us today.
We're excited to be here, Jane.
Yes, it's good to see you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I am so intrigued by what you are doing, and we'll just jump right in here. Tell us the story behind the discovery of Body of Nine.
Well, for me, I found out my natural number as part of a leadership training program. I was becoming a life coach and relationship coach, and I was introduced to my natural number as part of the leadership program. It was profound for me. Explained all the weird things about myself that I loved, but nobody else seemed to understand. And it gave me a new starting place for exploring who I knew I could become. It's something I had known in my body was true, and all of a sudden there it was for me. And so I dedicated my life to studying this. It was originally discovered by a couple in San Anselmo using a version of the Enneagram and martial arts, Aikido. And they were doing a simple exercise, and they noticed the people they had identified using their Enneagram-based model did weird things with their bodies. And that was the initial discovery. And then Martin and I worked with them for years. And in 2012, Body of Nine was created when we went out to the desert, Mojave Desert, and gave this as a gift in the environment of Burning Man. And that's where we got our training and did our research.
Fascinating, fascinating. So that is because the Enneagram is something that has been around for years, but correlating that to how your results from that coincide with the way you move your body was fascinating. Um, so decoding your natural physiology, you call Body of Nine an identity system that offers a path to discover your true self. How does that work exactly?
Well, part of the gift that comes with your natural number is the way your body develops. And so how you move, how your eyes work, how your body's shaped, how your face is shaped, all of these are attributes of what we call your natural number. So being able to see, having seen 8,000 now people, we can look at you and look at your body and say, okay, this is how your body is shaped. And from that, we can go a long way towards assessing your natural number. And then when you put on top of that how your body moves,
becomes simple. Uh, it's the reason it is an identity system because your body tells the truth about who you are. And from there, because we've talked to 7,500 people, almost 1,000 of every natural number, we've distilled the specific descriptions of what it's like to live in your kind of body.
yeah, we like to say that there's 8 billion people because each of us has a whole lot of nurture. But there's only really 9 different kinds of nature, 9 ways that people are informed
by their bodies.
Or guided by their bodies, yeah.
Yes.
How your senses inform you. Everybody has the same senses. But how you interpret them is completely related to your natural number.
So is it body language, but that's completely different, correct?
Well, if you look into the physics of communication, if you will, then it's very clear that over 50 or 60% of our communication is entirely body-based. On top of that, there's tone, there's temperature of speech, and only the words we use are about 17-20% of our communication. So yes, our communication is entirely really body-based. And because the way we use our words and what our words mean differ by natural number, even though our bodies are communicating, our heads are misinterpreting what's being said. So knowing your natural number is a great way to break through the miscommunications that you see in the world.
And a lot of body language actually is cultural. So in some cultures, you nod no like this, right? And so that is also learned behavior, physical responses. So what we do is we tune into the bodies of others, and through that tuning, we have all sorts of body to body communication that happens. That's both cultural, but a lot of it also does come from your natural number. We gesture from the area of our natural number. We move from a particular center within the body. Each natural number has its own center. So these things are communicating who we are all the time to people around us.
We could use the analogy of 9 radio stations. And there's broadcast information on each of the 9 radio stations. Knowing your natural number enables you to start hearing your own radio station better and broadcasting on your own radio station. And because we know and can teach how to activate all 9 senses in our body, because there are 9 senses in each of our bodies, then you can actually, when you have all 9 going, hear all 9 radio stations, which really changes perception of the world.
Yes.
Oh, that's fascinating. I love that analogy. That really paints a picture. And I love the way that you explain that we all have our unique body language from culture as well, because part of my background is Mexican. My mother is from Mexico. My dad is Canadian. But they use their hands a lot in Latin countries. I mean, Latins in general use a lot of hand gestures, and that's very cultural. So yes, I love that. That is so fascinating. So because this is such a new and groundbreaking concept, I'm curious, as entrepreneurs, a lot of entrepreneurs are here listening. How are you going about marketing this new concept?
Well, Susan and I both have a kind of an entrepreneurial background in the computer and high tech world. We both worked in Silicon Valley for many, many years. And I was an early employee at some really big companies. So we're used to the almost advocational way of helping people understand this. You have to go out and help people know that it exists, and then sort of help them understand why is it important. And part of that challenge is being simple about it, because this is a very simple concept, but it's also very hard to explain as to why have Susan and Martin, two
regular people,
regular well-trained people, have we been able to observe this, and how can we take it out? So the challenge absolutely has been being able to advocate on behalf of humanity that this exists and hasn't been seen, but practice and a lot of help. We stand on a lot of shoulders of giants.
Yes, and I want to take that down to another level of detail, which is, at first we started doing what most people who have a really fabulous modality want to do, which is get out there and tell the world about the way they do things. And we've learned that Susan and Martin can't get this out into the world right now. It takes us to identify people's natural numbers. So we're working now with coaches and holistic practitioners. So we're partnering with people who are already doing amazing healing work out in the world, and working with them to teach them how do they integrate this into what they're already doing. Because Body of Nine is a context and a modality, so it can fit into other things and help those things be more effective. And to leverage our time and energy, we are working more and more with coaches and holistic practitioners and therapists to put Body of Nine into a context that people already understand.
So an example of that would be in the sort of the self-help market. There's hundreds and hundreds of really excellent books out there about how people can learn to self-help, to become more holistically well, if you will. But each of those markets actually only hits about 11, 12% of the available people that you would hope to buy things. And we believe that's because the people that have these amazing modalities are talking to people with their natural number. And the people that can hear them are people that can hear that natural number. So if someone, my natural number is 5, I move from the top of my head. If someone is talking to me in a way that I can understand, I'm going to really jump into that idea and accept that idea. But if someone's talking to me about something that's body-based, it's not going to resonate with me. So the ability to give this extra dimension to everybody's modalities is why we're quite excited about what we do.
Right. So a context. For example, you take a practice like Reiki. Reiki is a hands-on healing method, and it's done very differently by people of different natural numbers. So understanding both your natural number and the way you do your magic, and also the person you're working with, the way they receive that magic. So it gives you that context for the bidirectional impact to improve when we are working with other people.
Yes, I could see that being so beneficial. You're basically learning to tune into your client's radio station, so to speak. Yeah. And in doing that, they resonate with you and you resonate with them because you're on the same frequency, so to speak.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a great way to cut down on miscommunication. Because
absolutely. And it's a great way to deliver your communication.
Yes.
So,
for
yes,
the 9 natural numbers, are more I focused and relationship focused, and 5 of the 9 are not. So if you're relationship focused and you're wondering why people don't build relationship with you, then this starts to explain that, and vice versa. If I'm not relationship focused and someone comes up and wants to make a lot of eye contact, it can be very confusing and actually distracting. So the ways that we miscommunicate are, as you say, very body-based down to the smallest level.
Yes, I could see that being beneficial. Oh my gosh, even in corporations dealing with clients, and that goes on and on for sure. Wonderful. So the key in your case to marketing is collaboration. That's sort of the nut that I got, is collaborating with others that are already in the field of, whether it's mind leadership, that kind of thing. So in that way, you're able to connect with their client base and then spread the word. So beautiful. I love it, because collaboration is so important for entrepreneurs in every business. But in your case, I could see where that could be very beneficial. So given that, can you give us a little insight into what the big vision you have for Body of Nine?
Well, my big vision from the moment that I got identified was, wow, this is actually important. That there are 9 physiologically different kinds of people, and it's not something that's widely known in the world. I felt immediately that my calling was to be the person with my husband out there talking about it. He wasn't with me at the time, but we've since connected around and both have found this to be a calling for us. So our big vision is that we'd like everybody in the whole world to know their natural number.
Yeah. And so I think there's a common thread for all of us that want to help humanity, to help everybody, because, and that's a big thing.
Yeah,
and
probably not doable in our lifetime.
No. So, but it would be great if children, for example, were raised to know their natural number. And the reason that's important is that the numbers don't repeat in families until you have 9 people in the family. So your parents are not the same as you, and your brothers and sisters are not the same as you. And so you were raised, if you were lucky, most of us are, I think, by parents that loved you and cared for you and wanted the best for you, but they didn't know how to do that because they thought you were like them.
Basically. There's a fundamental assumption in the world that, well, we all have eyes, ears, mouth, and nose, and if you could just behave a little bit better, more like me, then we'd all be better off, right? But it turns out we can't.
When you're
we're
raising
actually
children,
fundamentally different.
Yeah. So when you're raising children, there's an element of nature that they have that most people are not aware of. So you can't honor them who they are. You raise them to be the best that they are with your nurture. But the number of children that are actually raised to be honored for who they are is relatively tiny. So if every child was raised knowing their natural number, then there would be a whole level of trauma that would disappear from the planet, we believe. And people, honestly, we believe people are happier once they know their natural number, and people get on so much better.
Yes, I could see that. A question that popped into my mind, can your number change?
We don't think so. The natural number seems to declare sometime in utero. It's visible in children, and it seems to be the last thing that leaves. The few experiences we've had with people who are passing, there's a pulse in the body in the area of the natural number after they've actually physically died that can go on for 10 or 15 minutes. So,
and so
really sure.
One of the things that we're going to ask is that your listeners don't disbelieve. We don't ask you necessarily to believe all the things that we're saying based on our experience with 8,000 people. But our experience has been that if you don't disbelieve the magic that exists in the world,
and in you, and in your own body,
you can connect to that magic. But again, don't disbelieve.
Right. Fascinating. Well, there's a little bit of the next question in that when you say, what is the relationship between the body of 9 and the energetic power of the body? It was interesting because, Susan, you said something about when the body leaves, there's that energetic that's there, but just delve into that, because I know there is a lot of science now behind how our bodies are an energy source.
There's a very particular energy signature for each of the areas. So when you turn on and activate a different part of your body, either your own or one of the others, something different happens in terms of what you're perceiving energetically and what you are giving out. So for example, if I activate natural number 1, which is located at the top of the throat, and I give you soft and gentle eye contact, you get a different sense of who I am. And this enables me to be more than just Susan as a natural number 6. So bring gentleness and vulnerability into my being in a different way than I would normally do.
And so you'll notice that our pace changes, how we use words changes.
The energy we give off.
The energy we give off changes. There are 9 energies, 9 radio stations that we use in our bodies.
And these, we often call it physio-spiritual because it's this blend of your physical and your spiritual. And too much, in modern science, oftentimes we try to separate those two things. But our experience is they're not really separable. They're intertwined and interrelated. And so understanding your physicality gives you so many clues to how you show up on a spiritual level.
And one of the stranger things about natural numbers is the even natural numbers are much more embodied than the odd natural numbers. So yes, the energies in our body are very much there and are detectable and activatable, if you will, but by the even numbers more easily. But there are energies outside the body that the odd numbers can connect to and be aware of, Reiki being one of them, that there is amazing panoply of things going on in the world that we're not aware of until we start actually allowing our bodies to learn more.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fun, interesting uh, things about, like, the even numbers are in the lower half of the body. They basically go from chest down, and the odd numbers are from here up. That's kind of fun if you think about that. Wow, okay, so our odd numbers are less embodied, and our even numbers are more embodied. Any two combinations in relationship, when you have an odd and an even, there seems to be some more dynamism and interest in the relationship. But doesn't mean you can't be in a relationship with somebody of an even number if you're even.
Yeah, so the numbers mean things too. We don't know where they came from. No idea who said this is 7 or 5, but there are mathematical relationships between them that we use to determine things. So we can use numbers to predict, which is a great part of the scientific method.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating. So I got the sense that maybe some of you said the odd numbers are from the waist up.
No,
is that,
chest,
or did I get
upper
that
chest.
wrong? Okay.
Upper chest up.
They might tend to be more cerebral, I'm guessing.
Yes.
I don't know. And the even are more touchy-feely, I guess, or flowing.
So,
in
a simple way.
Yes. We like to say that the top is the sort of 1, 3, and 5 are the more cerebral. The ones in the center of the body, thank you, 1, 7, and 5. The ones in the center of the body are actually more energy focused. The ones in the lower body are more bodily focused. So there is a component of our bodies that is energy aware. Going back to your previous question. And so knowing that various parts of our bodies are doing various things, and of course the heart is a hugely energetic organ.
Right.
It produces a lot of various kinds of power. And so the body is split in triads as far as we can tell.
So that's actually my next question was the body of 9 and the unique gifts, because you go from 1 to 9 and you say that your natural number comes with a unique set of gifts. Now you've just given sort of an overall of even and odd and top and center and bottom. Can you give us maybe just a brief, not even maybe description, just some words of the gifts that are associated with each body number? Like just a word or two.
Yeah. Yes. I just, and Susan's going to do that. I just want to give a little bit of a warning here that words are really, really slippery. The same words are going to mean 9 different things. So when Susan talks about intuition or energy, each of us has intuition. Each of us has energy. It just turns up 9 different ways.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. I'll just go 1 to 9. So 1 is about our relationship with each other and with source or God or whatever your words are for that, the source of creation. And it is about honoring and appreciating others and accepting who they are as they are now. 2 is about top of this six pack is about connection, just for the sake of connection. These are the people that are just always available to connect. 3 is about how do I look at you and see into who you are and inspire your soul into action and light you up. 4 is about how do I align with myself. It's a low abdomen. How do I align with myself to understand the wisdom contained in my emotions? 5 is about opening to the river of knowledge in the heavens to bring that knowledge to us as human beings for the purpose of helping others to achieve their full potential. 6, at the center of the sternum, is about how do we move forward on the most alive path with the most significance and the most importance. 7 is how do we see what we have not yet seen? How do we clear space for more? And how do we change and grow and always strive for the best way of doing things? 8 is how do we build with integrity? How do we use our bodies to take in what's happening, knowing what we should do, when we should do it, how should we do it, and to do it in a way that brings everyone into the process in the right way. And then 9, on the spine between the shoulder blades, is about how do we hold it all, bring it all together, move it with harmony and flow, bring the processes to an end so that they can be reignited out in the world. So the energies work together to create a natural human connection and transformation process.
Wow. When you put it in those terms, I could see how powerful the communication capabilities would be to understand what your number is, and also to understand who the person you're speaking to, what their number is. So you connect.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Yes. And you can find that information in your books, correct?
Yes. Our first book, now second edition, the Practices for Presence, talks about a brief overview of each of the 9 and what do you do with this. So there's 9 practices, which they're not brand new. It's courage and intention and all the things you hear out the world. But what's interesting is the order in which we suggest you do it. So it's 4 practices for presence, bringing yourself present, and then 5 practices for creating the life you want to live. And that's our second edition. And then Decode Your Physiology and Discover Your True Self has a detailed chapter on every natural number that describes the physiology, how you support them, how you parent them, what they're like in relationship. It's kind of the roadmap for understanding other people, because we very rarely hang out with people of our own natural number.
So writing the books was very interesting because each of the individual chapters have to be written in the words and cadence
and voice
of that natural number. And so there was a lot of work with people of that natural number to make sure that we said what they needed to be said and that we supported them. There's a whole sub-chapter about how to raise children of that particular natural number, because it's a thing.
They need something different. Each one does. We all know our kids are different from each other and they're different from us. This explains the why of it and gives you some direction to head in. I joke that this is the owner's manual for those children that you have that didn't come with one.
Right, the ones that you don't understand. You're just not talking their body language.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's great. That's fascinating, that the work you put into that, so that whatever number you are, it will resonate with you when you're reading it. That is fascinating. So why, I mean, you've explained quite a bit here about connecting with our bodies, but why is it important that we acknowledge what our body number is telling us? Like, say, for example, you're a skeptic and you're like, well, I'm not going to believe most of this, but why is it so important that we do understand and listen to our bodies?
Skepticism is vastly encouraged. We don't want anyone to believe things just based on what we say. Fortunately, as we've said, we've worked with 8,000 people, and we have a lot of testimonials for people whose lives have changed. We're pretty happy to guarantee that the people that we've identified within 6 months get to be happier and feel more on their path, because this is honoring you in a way that you have never probably been honored before.
It also creates a conscious connection from your body to your purpose, to your soul, to your being. And once you know it, you can never go back. You could never go back to not knowing it. And that connection is there and available for you moving forward, because our bodies can help us recover when things get hard. And a simple adjustment to your posture, for me, I lift and expand my intercostal muscles in between, and that just brings me present immediately. So if I lose it and I get triggered, that's, you get these simple exercises for recovery, as well as this deep sense of honoring of yourself at the most profound level.
Your ego relaxes. The nice thing is your ego doesn't have to protect you anymore, because once you're connected to yourself, your ego becomes a partner. And it awakens your cosmic observer, so that you don't have to be afraid all the time. You don't have to be pushed around by fear, as
most of us are trying to be done to.
Right. So it really is a freedom from fear, and it enables you to see a clearer path for yourself and decide what of your beliefs you want to hold,
right,
and what of your beliefs aren't serving you anymore. Because a lot of our beliefs come from our nurture and our environment. but some of them are built into us. And it also, as I've said before, lets you connect to your magic, because we can do things we don't think we can do.
Yeah, I mean, at the outside edge of this, as we ourselves explore activating the energies in our own bodies, we become more perceptive and calmer, just definitely happier and more connected. And all of our relationships have improved. I mean, we live with my mother-in-law and my daughter, and we all get along great. I think that's quite something.
Yes, and I went into programming because I didn't get on with people. And so I think there's a lot of people out there, certainly a lot of entrepreneurs, that get out there and they do their thing because it's what they're driven to do, but they forget the people part of this. So this enables you to actually enjoy being with people, even if you don't think you like people. So it's an amazing way to get through our lives.
There's a real tendency that we have to judge other people's behavior through our lens. And what this does is it opens your lens up and lets you see people from their own perspective. So you don't guess, or at best guess at their behavior, the reasons for their behavior. So it creates this possibility for curiosity and acceptance that is, it's really missing in the world today.
And if you want to get on with your parents and your kids better, then this is another way to do it. As I say, they're not like you.
Right.
What they say and what they mean and
what they care about.
Yeah. So anything that you think of, and just as a little bit of another nugget for our listeners, is that because we're used to giving and receiving love from our natural number, we're used to receiving love from our parents. So one of the reasons we think people tend to, quote, marry their mother, unquote, is that or father, you're used to receiving love that way.
There's a physical component to the way we give love, and that was what seems to be causing the piece of attraction in relationship.
So imagine the whole mess that you're basically, you are used to receiving love this particular way. You found someone that you like because of that connection, but then you've got memories of the nurturing that you had with your parents. So no wonder relationships are so hard.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, well, that you could delve into a whole nother realm with that one for sure.
It's a whole other subject.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. If you've got a solution for the mother-in-law living with you, boy, I'll tell you, you could hit the jackpot with that one. Ways to put up with your mother-in-law.
I like my mother-in-law. Yeah. She's an awesome human. She's also an amazing artist because of her natural number oneness.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. No, but I just, it's amazing that by this one piece of knowledge, and of course it's not one piece. There's a lot of research that have gone into this and years of studying, but it's amazing that there is so much information and so much more that we can learn and continue to learn throughout our lives. So now this is really interesting because I was on speaking with you both earlier, and you said that you can by knowing your body number, it helps us to identify our innate superpower. Now, that's a word that's been thrown around a lot, but we all have an innate superpower, is what you're saying. And by knowing your body number, that sort of triggers you or leads you into that. Just explain a little bit more of that.
Well, we were talking before about posture, that our bodies lead our movement from a particular part of the body, either somewhere in the head or the chest or the torso. And so your ability, as I said before, to recover, that is a superpower right there. It just in 1 second that you can go from being triggered to being present by understanding how your body works.
The other thing we see is that performers, when you are really seeing someone performing at their best and it's really touching your soul, you can tell that those people are actually connected to their deep self and their natural number is shining forward. And there's hundreds of examples, thousands of examples of performers doing that. Athletes, the same thing. And those are just the physical parts of your superpower. Again, going back to don't disbelieve. As a natural number 5, my ability to do Reiki, I just discovered how to do it just because it's part of my ability to connect with other people's energy in their bodies. So,
and any natural number can do Reiki, yes, they just do it differently.
Yeah, it's just that there are so many things, so much magic in our bodies that I think Western society has nudged us away from over time, that the superpower that comes with you is there are some pretty stereotypical for each of the 9. But there's also very much, what do you believe you can do? Because as long as you don't disbelieve, you can probably do it.
Yes. And that was a good point you
Right.
made about in performance. When we get ourselves in the zone, in that place where everything's just working, 9 times out of 10, you've activated your natural number without consciousness. Knowing your superpower lets you activate it consciously, so your performance can always be at that level. And that's a big deal.
We've had some success with athletes that by knowing their natural number, they've been able to be more of whatever it is that they could do. Prime example, natural number threes, and to some extent sevens, but threes have huge upper body strength, and most of the major professional rock climbers are natural number threes because they just have this ability. So how we use our bodies is very much connected to our natural number. And if we're really lucky, we are living in a world where we are taking advantage of that subconsciously.
Wow, that's fascinating. Yes, because if you knew your number and where your strengths lie, you could, like you said, use that to your advantage, whether it's upper body strength or, tuning in to individual, whatever the case might be. That could really help you in finding your well, not just your superpower, but the meaning of your, a lot of your purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
it's so validating, and it makes it easy to fall in love with yourself, to know what true self-love is, because this is the part of yourself that is innate, born in us, and we're just good at it.
And it's nice to be seen.
It's nice to be seen.
Yeah, I could see that. That's really fascinating, and so powerful as well. So Susan and Martin, I know you know as well, but you mentioned just very briefly about some of the practices that you can do to support your natural number and why it's important. Maybe just share a couple with us, because I really find that something that we could use. It's a tool, like you said, if you're out of your body or you're imbalanced or so on and so forth. There are certain things, simple things that you can do to bring yourself back to your body, which would help you in all situations.
We have a simple exercise we call collapse and lift, which you don't even need to know your natural number to do this one. So you just get on your sits bones, line yourself up, and then just allow yourself to just completely crumple. And then you take a deep breath and let your body lift up. And if you watch Martin and I do that, I lifted here from my chest, Martin lifted from his head. So you lift naturally and you align your body naturally using whatever your energy center is active in you. So the simple act of collapsing and then lifting and bringing yourself back to a nice upright posture will automatically turn your body back on.
And you don't have to go completely floppy. Once you get used to doing it, it's just a small adjustment. As Susan likes to say, our parents were right. Posture is important.
Posture is important. Mom was right.
Oh. I remember that. That was in my grandmother's day. They said they used to put a book on your head and you had to walk with the book balanced on your head. We used to make fun of it, but you're right. Posture is very important. I find that if I slump and I feel my whole energy it dissipates, and I don't, I don't feel positive. I feel heavy, and posture is very important. And unfortunately, in today's world, I'm not sure, maybe you have a tip for this, but the kids with their phones and their iPads, they're always like this, and their body is unfortunately growing into that posture. Like if you see young people walking, a lot of them have rounded shoulders already, and they walk with their heads out. It's terrible. Well, and I'm not sure if there's a solution.
There are certain natural numbers that actually do naturally put their head forward, and it's really okay. Like fives, a lot of fives will put their head down and forward. And for them, it doesn't really adversely impact them. However, we're always, the spiritual energy flows to the body when it's aligned. So if you don't align your body, you don't have those experiences where things are flowing. You know this, you're a 9. The other thing that you can use is breath. There are so many different breath systems out there. None of them are right, none of them are wrong, but you and the way you breathe and the way you want to breathe is obviously just a great way of expanding your body, aligning your body, filling your body with life force energy. And that is powerful. So whatever way you like to breathe, bring that into whatever practice you already have. I mean, that's the simplest practice that's out there. Remember to breathe.
And I think the other part about looking down at your phone is you're missing the physio-spiritual ability to connect to other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know. We're going to have a contraption where the phone sits up here. So it's hard. It's hard it's like a third arm for them. But yes, I understand that the body centers, that if you're slumped or your body posture is not upright, it is harder for the breath to travel. And even when because I am a yoga instructor as well, even when at the end of a class and we're sitting cross-legged, they always tell you shoulders back, head up. They want you to honor your body and its upright position. Not that you need to be rigid, but just that you're not slumping in that position, because it does help the breath flow more freely, and it's honoring your body, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doing yoga, you've done all this work to bring your body into alignment and be in flow, and then to finish your practice all slumped over.
I know.
It's just like, wait a second.
I resisted this idea that our bodies are temples for a long time, but turns out it's true that we inhabit them. They are a source of both wisdom and spiritual knowledge.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's what we've been given to use, so better take care of it, or else,
Yeah.
I often say a lot of people.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So sometimes I call it your spacesuit for your trip on planet Earth, and it's equipped in very certain ways, and your buttons and dials are turned on differently than the person sitting next to you, so that we can all pilot our planet here effectively.
I love that. That's fabulous. Oh my gosh. I mean, I could picture that. And you're absolutely right. It is our spacesuit. I was going to say that unfortunately, a lot of people take better care of their cars than they do their bodies, So you're absolutely correct. This is our vessel. So tell us now if there are any last words, Martin and Susan, that you'd like to share with our audience.
Get identified.
And don't disbelieve.
And don't disbelieve, yes. Find out your natural number, and also to trust the wisdom that you can feel in your body when you are upright. Trust the truth that you feel, and don't allow other people to negate that truth within you. You have a unique gift and a unique purpose, and your voice is needed. To withhold your wisdom and your voice, it leaves a hole in the fabric of our experience. We are so rarely together with all 9 natural numbers. When it happens, it's a beautiful, calm, lovely thing. If you feel that something isn't being taken care of or talked about or brought up, it's your responsibility to bring that forward, because you're perceiving it, because you have an ability to do that. So speak up, be you, give your gifts.
And don't believe that everyone's like you. Just because you're thinking something, don't think that everybody else is thinking the same thing, because they're probably not.
Yep.
We are gifts to each other.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And
we're a gift to each other.
Be open to those gifts from others as well. That person's not a pain in the ass. They're actually a gift offering you some wisdom.
I could see that. That would take some mind bending for some people. for sure.
Does.
We'll just send them your way. for sure.
Sounds good.
So that was beautiful. Thank you for that. And because we're here on the Epic Vision Zone, I have one last question, and you can answer it separately or together. But if your life were an epic story, what would the title be?
For me, it would be becoming the healer of healers that the shamans say I am.
That's profound.
For me, it would be that it would be the story of Susan Bennett Fisher and her family as they moved through this and stayed by the importance of getting the discovery of the 9 physiologies out into the world.
Beautiful. I love that. And be sure to pick up their books, because that will give you insight into all of this groundbreaking information, because this is groundbreaking for sure. And let our audience know how they can connect with you. We will have all that information in your bios, but just maybe tell our audience how they can connect with you.
Bodyof9.com is the website. That's the easiest way. You can get make appointments to get identified there. You can order the book. You can find out more about each of the natural numbers. We have a blog there, and we are building for coaches, holistic practitioners, and therapists. We are building out the part to the program to support them.
And there's our TV channel, special.tv
/Body of9.
/Body of9.
And we have a tremendous amount of content there. We have over 30 episodes of our What If Wednesday show that we broadcast on starting this week on pbmtv.org is live broadcasting our, broadcasting our weekly show. And we also have exercises like the Collapse and Lift on there, and that's a subscription channel. So if you like to watch video or download things and listen to them, it's a good way to learn more about what we are about.
Well, that's great. Yes, I did catch a couple of the television series, and I love it because they're entertaining, but they're informative, and they're not too long. So I really love that. And
yes, they're less than 25 minutes usually.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the when you're ready and you have your course for the coaches, be sure and get that on your bio page, because we will put that out for everyone to know. Do you expect it to be in the new year sometime, or sooner or later?
We're having on December 4th, we're having a one-day workshop, which is kind of the intro to, you need to come to that one to go to the next one kind of thing. So we're starting it up. And then we're going to have a 3-day in-person event in January to kick off a 9-month program. So that's
wonderful.
One energy each month. So you'll immerse yourself in one energy each month, and over 9 months, learn to get how to activate each of the energies in your body.
Okay, terrific. We'll get that information up on in your bio so that people who can participate. Do you have to be there live? Will you also have online?
It'll be a combo program. There is a physical component to this in the beginning, so you have to come to at least one live event to get the physical experience with us. But the 9-month program is 90% online.
Okay, wonderful, terrific. Well, I want to thank you both again, Susan and Martin, for joining us here today. And be sure to check out their new book, Body of 9 Practices of Presence. And also take a look at their Body of 9 TV series and more. As I said, we'll have all that information available for you in their bio. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at Jane Applegath, and check out how you can become an epic entrepreneur at janeapplegath.com. This is the Epic Vision Zone, transforming your dream into epic success.